Alright, welcome YouTube. This is going to be a showcase on my 2015 Mustang GT Premium. Now I bought this car around May to April of 2023, so it's just about to be 3 years of owning this car. I'll be talking about stuff I do like, don't like, and the issues I've had over the last 3 years. Now this is my first time doing a video, so I don't know if my camera, the settings are, I don't know how they are, so I don't know how it'll look at the end. I currently don't have a mic either, so I'm gonna be using my phone to record. But it is what it is. So yeah, so I'll be doing that, and then at the very end I'll be giving my opinion, what I think about the car or Mustangs in general, and also a little build breakdown. So most of the stuff I've done to the car is cosmetic. I don't have any actual mods on it yet. Well, the exhaust, but we'll get to that later, because I live in California and the cops out here are very harsh. I don't want to get state refed, so, and all the stuff that's car legal, that's pretty expensive, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, so when I first got this car, it had around 22,000 miles, and now I'm around 65-ish thousand, so it's 40k miles later. But anyways, alright, so the very first thing that I do not like about the S550s is this. This is an iconic bumper sag that a lot of S550s, not only the second gen but the third gen, carry, and that's because the clips on these are pretty fragile, not just this side but the other side. Now in my case, my car used to be lower, the streets in my area are pretty rough, so this is what happened to mine. Oh! The whole thing pretty much unclipped, and to fix it I either gotta get a new bumper, zip tie it, or get the self tappers that go right here. Now the other side's, it's not too bad. See, the rest of the car is good. This side is actually perfect, nothing wrong with it. Which leads me to another thing I don't like, and this is actually an issue I ran into when I first bought the car. So that takes us underneath the hood. It is a bit dusty, so don't mind that, but the first thing that I ran into was the valve cover and the valve cover gaskets. Now when I first got the car, and I know you might see this over here, we'll get to this a bit sooner, but when I first got the car, the previous owner never drove it. So when I bought the car, it had 22,000 miles, which is pretty good for a 2015. So I chucked it up to the gaskets being old, they dried up, cracked, and it started leaking. So I replaced this one, because this one was the one that was leaking towards the back. It was leaking oil, started smoking, it looked pretty bad. But a month later, it happened again. So I replaced them, and yeah, when I replaced them I did both at the same time, because I thought if one's cracked and old, then so will the other one. But yeah, it happened again, and I think after fixing this one twice, this one went out maybe a month later, but that, I don't know what happened there, so I replaced it. And in my case, one of the issues I found that was going on is that, I don't know what it is, I was looking at other owners had the same problem where the bolts that are somewhere here in the back, over time with the heat and pressure or whatever it is, they actually start getting unscrewed by themselves. So you gotta come in, re-screw them, and I think that's what caused my issue. Now one of the fixes I found was upgrading the covers or the gaskets to the Shelby models. I haven't done that yet, as it hasn't given me any problems in like the last 2 years, which leads me to this. Now I say this is my temporary fix, because I noticed that a lot of the plastics in here, the clips especially, are easily breakable. Now this happened when I was swapping out my intake, and when I was putting the stock one back in, we weren't being too careful, me and my bro, so we snapped this out. Now it's only a vacuum line, so I'm not too worried about it. I haven't gotten any like issues, no lights, no power loss. But yeah, this is my temporary fix, because otherwise, you know, it doesn't hold. But I already ordered a new intake, so that I'm just waiting for that to happen, so I haven't fixed that yet. Now I love the 8-inch sink, so you know, it's beautiful. If you were to get a Mustang or you're looking into getting one, I definitely would recommend going to the 8-inch. My EcoBoost I used to have a few years ago had the little calculator screen that was horrible. But anyway, I point this out because since this is a 2015, it only comes with a sink too. Now this is me being picky, but this car, can't come with Apple CarPlay, which is, yeah, you know, not everyone needs it. You know, I don't care about that. That's why I haven't changed it out. But if you do get a Mustang and you do care about that, I would recommend getting a I think 2017 and over, they come with the Sync 3, which is compatible with Apple CarPlay. You just gotta update a few things, or the new Mustangs they already come with it. But you could say I could just swap out the screen, which yeah, I thought about it. Aftermarket ones, they're pretty affordable compared to like the OEM ones. Oh! But you know, I like the 8-inch. I like the way that looks, so I kept it since. I have, you know, no issues with it, and I just use my phone for like Waze or something like that. Just prop it next to me. Now, what I do like about the car, I mean, it's pretty much everything. They sound beautiful when you get the exhaust in, whatever you plan on running. And I mean, now they're pretty affordable. You could get one under 30 for about, with like what, 50k miles, 60 around there. Now, another cool feature I like about the 2015, the premium model, I don't know which models actually come with this option, but for it being 2015, it still comes with a remote start. So you could do it, a little idle for you, turn it on, and also turn it off, which I think it's a pretty cool, neat thing where if you run into work, school, or car meet, whatever, you can cold start it, or you get ready. By the time you're out, hop in, and you're good to go. That leads me back to an interior. At least in my model, the premium actually comes with lighting, so they just don't ignore the interior. I haven't detailed in a while, just pretty much the outside. But actually, this little Mustang logo you see here, that lights up in whatever color you could, like, not wish for, but the screen in here has a few color modes you could choose from. I think there's like 6, or you can make your own with the colors that are already implemented into the system. But yeah, you got ambient lighting on the door handles, the little step underneath your feet, both passenger and driver, and the cup holders, and that's pretty much all the ambient lighting in here. So that's pretty much it on the issues and the stuff I don't like about the car. I'm honestly not too picky other than the screen thing, but you know, this car it's done me pretty well. I love it. And a lot of my homies that have a 502, they can't complain about their car. So now I'm gonna do a little walkthrough of the stuff I currently have done to the car and what I plan to do in the future. Alright, so starting from the front to the back, for me this is my favorite cosmetic to this day that I've ever did to this car. Alright, and if you have a second gen, I would recommend it. I love the way this splitter makes the whole front end look. It makes it look lower, meaner, because I don't like how the second gen set too high, and it feels like the bottom just, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me. Now this is a Cervini's C-Series splitter. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you noticed this already. It's pretty messed up. This happened recently where I was driving on the highway at night, so I couldn't really see the, you know, what's on the road. So when I went to switch lanes, whatever was on the road smacked into this corner and just broke the whole thing. Now it's still on the car, you know, it's not messed up or anything, it's still solid, but I will have to be ordering a new one because that's just gonna get more messed up over time. Now the downside of this one is that it does cost a little bit. I think right now American Muscle has it for like $480, which yeah, it's a bit pricey. Now the biggest thing on my car is I'm running ESR wheels. Yeah, they are ESR. These actually came off my bro's 5.0. He was fully bagged, he had the whole show going, so he actually sold them to me for a good price. And I mean I tied up my whole car together. So I'm running a 10.5 squared all around. Now these do kind of poke past the fender line. Let's see if I can capture it here. So, hold on. You can sort of see it, how they stick out like maybe 1.5 inch past the fender in the front and in the back. But it's not too obvious because I also have Steeda camber arms in the back to make them tuck a little bit more in. And also I'm not running the proper tires. Oh no, sort of, yeah, but I could be running wider tires. So in the front I'm running a 275/35 and in the back a 285/35. Now I chose these two because I noticed that anything past 295 sticks past the fender line a little bit too much, and in my opinion that looks kind of like goofy or kind of funny. I know there's some people who like that. For me, for my car, I didn't want to go for that look, so that's what I'm currently running. Which now we go to the side skirts. These are Drake Muscle, and these are pretty weathered. I've had them on the car for a long time actually, and they had come off my other car, so yeah, they've been like 5 years in use, and that's how they look. I mean, they just need like a little bit of a trim repair. I mean, or whatever thing that makes stuff black again. For the interior, I do have the dash done. Now this is a wrap, and I mean it looks pretty good for it being a wrap, other than me wrapping it because I'm not good at wrapping. So that's what I got done to it. And then I also have a forged carbon steering wheel with a cover. Now the cover and the wheel have like a little bit of a fitment issue, as I got the wheel from Marketplace of a guy who does pretty cool wheels, and then I got the cover from what's the guy's name, Anderson Composites on Instagram. So you know the fitment isn't fully there. Now I also added the Recaro seats. Now I did have to get rid of my other seats, which made me sacrifice the cooling and heated stuff, which stuff I kind of never even used to begin with. So I didn't mind too much. I love these seats. If you ever think of upgrading your 5.0 or whatever Mustang you have to Recaros, I would definitely recommend them. Now towards the back, I do have some blacked out, what is it called, the side markers. And for the wing, I'm currently running a 350 wing with a wicker bill. Now I forgot what the name of this wicker bill was called, and this is possibly like my third or fourth wing. I used to have the GT500 with the wicker bill on it. I love that, but a lot of Mustangs in my area are starting to rock the same wing, which I'm like, you know, let me try to be a little bit different. Not a lot of people in my area carry the 350. Now I like this one because it goes flush throughout the whole thing. The only thing I'm gonna be nitpicky about is the exposed nuts. Now I've never kind of been a big fan of the exposed screws, I mean, on the wicker bills. I feel like in my case, my car doesn't really fit, as I have nothing crazy going on. So, well, you know, but I live with it. Now tied to the back, I also have Euros. You know, a lot of people carry Euros, and these are my second set. The first ones I had were again from eBay. So don't cheap out, those didn't last too much. Well, actually they kind of did, but water started going in them and kind of got screwed over. I picked these up from Marketplace for a good deal. These are the S550 Euros multi-mode. No, I would, but wouldn't recommend them. I would recommend them because of the 5 modes, which you know, I'm not going to show you every single mode. I don't know how to do every single mode out there, but I will show you what it does. Now this is the mode I currently have them on, which is, I guess you could say, the stock mode. So it just, all it does is just add the amber, and you got a few modes that out of the top of my head I can't remember. Now I said I would but wouldn't recommend these. I would recommend them because of the 5 modes and the amber. I feel like it adds a extra detail, but I wouldn't recommend them because of the price. Now S550 Euros does kind of tax on their tail lights, and so if you could find these off a Marketplace for a far better deal, I would fully recommend them. Now the previous owner did tint this edge and then the inner part of it, so this is the only one that's like kind of like not tinted, so it's kind of like looks a bit weird. Now the final thing in the back is the exhaust. I'm currently running a full Corsa Extreme exhaust all the way through with a double helix Corsa X pipe, sorry. And again, I picked it up from Marketplace, but I picked these up for around 800 bucks, the whole thing, which is like, for me in my area, the way people post stuff, that's a pretty good deal. Maybe you could find a better deal than I do. Now the last thing I have done on the car that I forgot to mention alongside the wheels is my suspension. Now the suspension, I'm running what was it, Steto Sport lowering springs. I forget how much it drops from the front and the back, as I got these way back then when I first got in the car. But yeah, this is kind of like the fitment it has in the back with my setup, and then the front with the current setup I'm running. Now the biggest thing is, do I regret buying my Mustang, and would I recommend it, and is it worth it? I feel like now it's definitely worth buying a second gen 5.0. You still get all the 5.0 implements, exhaust, power, torque, the looks. But yeah, if you don't care about the 6-speed and then the extra buff that the 3rd gen came with, or even the 4th gen, I would definitely recommend buying a 2nd gen. But if you're looking into or debating getting a 2nd gen over a 3rd gen, I personally would go for the 3rd gen, because a lot of the stuff I talked about, this maybe some issues or the little like picky stuff I nicked at, have been fixed with the 3rd gen. And also the 3rd gen comes with a little bit extra buff in power and torque, and you got the 10-speed. And yeah, the 3rd gens are still like in the low 30s, maybe mid 30s, possibly in the 40s. I don't know how 3rd gens are at the moment, but I would recommend a 3rd gen over a 2nd gen, only because of the, you know, the newer stuff, the transmission, and that's pretty much it. Honestly, I do know that the 2nd gens, the Coyote in these is more optimal for power. You can boost it; it'll handle it better without having to upgrade the block, stuff like that. Now in my case, I don't think I will ever boost it if I keep it in the long term. Who knows, you know, I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much it with the 5.0. But yeah, this is my first time doing the video, like I said, so I don't know how well it came out on camera and audio. And if there's probably a few things I missed, to be honest, because I don't know how to make videos, how to edit them and stuff like that. With that said, if you guys have any questions about my build specifically or Mustangs in general, feel free to ask. I'll try to answer it if I know the answer. But with all that said, yeah, here's my 5.0, and I'll see if I'll keep making videos on this car or stuff I do to it, fix issues I run into, or who knows. Yeah, and I just want to thank you for watching this video, and I'll possibly see you guys in the next one.